Hi, here in Vermont, a lot of people make maple syrup. So I'm going to talk about that today. This is the sign for make, like you're kind of screwing something together. And the sign for maple syrup, you do the sign for sticky, which is your middle finger and your thumb together like that. And then the sign for something you pour on something like syrup is like this. So maple syrup is like that. So in the winter when it's cold, the sap inside the tree, sap is sort of like your blood in your body. The sap goes down into the roots, and you can show that like that. That's the roots of a plant. That's the roots of a tree. It has a lot of roots like that. They go down under the ground. And when spring is just starting, so a sign for spring is like something growing up like this, like little tiny plants coming up. And this is the sign for start, kind of like you're turning a key in to start a car. When spring is just starting, the days start to get warm. And that's when people do their sugaring. The sign for sugaring is you make your whole hand like you're licking some sugar off of your fingers. And sugaring is the name for making maple syrup. So we're going to show you what people do. So the first thing is to drill a hole in the tree. Drill in with a bit like this. And that's going to make a little hole for the sap to drip out. This is the sign for drip. Now we have a little hole in the tree, and we have a tap we're going to hammer in. I'm hammering this to help you. So we've got our tap. We're going to tap the tree. We do that by showing like hitting with a hammer. Then the sap will start to drip out. It comes out this little tube. So we put a bucket on there to collect the sap. For a bucket, you can show the shape of the bucket. It goes out a little bit at the top. Now Cameron's going to put the lid on top of the bucket to keep all dirt out and things like that. And we're going to collect the sap later after the bucket fills up. This is the sign for collect, kind of like you're scooping something. You'd use the same sign if you like to collect rocks or something like that. So when we collect the sap, then we can change it into maple syrup. Sometimes people use buckets, and sometimes they use tubes. And for that, you make like a little circle with your fingers and show the long tubes. And you might see some of those tubes in the woods in Vermont. The sign for woods is like you show a tree and another tree and another tree and another tree. And the sap runs all down those tubes into one tank, so people don't have to walk around to collect the sap. So then when you've collected all your sap, you bring it to your sugar house. That's the name of the building where you have a fire going. So fire is like this. And the sugar house, sugar is just the same as sweet or sugaring. And the house, you make like roof and the walls like that. So in the sugar house, people have a big fire going. And they boil the sap. This is a sign for boil. One of your hands does the same thing it did for fire, but you make kind of the bottom of the pot, or what's called an evaporator in a sugar house. And there's a big pan. It's full of sap, and as it cooks and boils, the water in there turns into steam. So steam, your fingers kind of go like this and show the steam going up in the air. You see that like when you're cooking in your kitchen, if you're boiling water, as the water vapor, it's called, goes up in the air as steam. Then as it's cooking a long time and the water goes away, the level of the sap goes down and down and down until there's a small amount, and that is the maple syrup. And it's very sweet and tastes very yummy. And you can put that into a jar or some kind of thing to pour it, and you can pour it out on your pancakes or your ice cream or something that you like to have maple syrup on. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how you start sugaring, and I hope you can enjoy some maple syrup yourselves. Bye-bye.